Yeah, she got her. Whatever it is, last. Cause she was on spring break a couple weeks before us. Her kid. None. Well, no, not this quarter.
No,
She
I
didn't.
didn't think you could hear me.
You don't physically go all year.
But that's just
like. Yeah, yeah.
And you're talking about the same. This is what we talk about.
Last experience. My daughter went to GCC and I think she had her class there.
Oh, this one we don't use. This
She.
is old.
Whenever she did the middle, come out to the choir, high school credit. Yeah, we gave her help. She probably did the help plan. Something else. So then all she had to do was take PE.
Yes.
So she didn't think it was, but they said, hey, can you play ball?
Yes.
You keep going, the team player, we'll count that for
Yeah,
PE.
exactly.
Put chairs out there.
That's the way it should be. You should make kids. I mean, I get why they have.
But so they counted that last, whatever in this one.
Yes.
She has check-ins.
Take that. Right, right, right.
Where they going? Even the counter. Here and there, but,
Update.
I feel like one of us asked for it.
Wow, that's not-
Oh.
Okay, everybody, it's just a minute after 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, please.
Smith,
Here.
Anderson, absent, Arcano,
Here.
Burbank,
Here.
Ferguson, here, Bender, absent, Green,
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Anderson and Bender.
Second.
All in favor?
motion carries.
Do we have either of them on Zoom?
Not at the moment. I will let you know if they can top up.
Okay, agenda modifications. Do we have anything this evening?
Move to approve the agenda. As
Second.
presented.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Well, first thing this evening, we're gonna have our street recognition. Start off here. And we're happy to have everybody here. Immediate family, extended family, and fire family for Keith Lambertus. It is a long-standing tradition in Buckley to name streets in honor of individuals who have devoted years to serving our community. Tonight, we are proud to recognize Keith Lambertus. Keith proudly and bravely served his country in the United States Air Force. Following his military service, he served for a combined 25 years as a volunteer firefighter with Buckley and Enumclaw Fire Departments. He also worked as a technical designer for Boeing for 32 years. Keith lived a life of service to others, always helping, teaching, and volunteering. Keith was instrumental in the development of our Firefighters Recruit Academy and served as Academy Commander for a number of years. This was a legacy that he was proud of and to be a huge active part of. Even after his retirement in 2018, Keith has touched the lives of countless community members and first responders across the plateau and beyond. Keith Lambertus's legacy is one of service, community, spirit, and deep love for Buckley. Tonight, I believe we are joined by members of the Lambertus family And if you would like to, if anybody would like to speak, I would love to have you come up, and I believe I will add that retired Chief Predmore wasn't able to be with us tonight. I know
He's on
he
Zoom.
is. Okay, good. He can listen in. He's in Alaska on a mission, so to speak, and so if Will, if you're and after Will's done, if anybody else would like to speak, please.
All right, comments from the former retired fire chief, not former, retired fire chief Predmore. Lieutenant Keith Lambertus cared about the community, fire department, and the services that the fire department provided. But most notably, he cared about the firefighters he trained. Keith had a hand in training hundreds of volunteer firefighters, many who continue to serve as volunteers, and many more who now are serving as career firefighters in fire departments throughout the entire Pacific Northwest. Keith exemplified what it meant to be a mentor to others and demonstrated true servant leadership. Keith's service to the City of Buckley Fire Department made the City of Buckley a better place. Godspeed, my friend. You are truly missed and always remembered.
Okay, before we get into the actual, oh, Chief, please.
So that was summed up perfectly. There's a couple of former members that have now gone on to other departments in this room tonight. And we just truly want to thank Keith for his years of service. He literally touched the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of not only citizens, but first responders across the Pacific Northwest. Thank you to the City of Buckley for allowing this tribute in Keith's name.
Absolutely. Please.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Kyle Lambertus, Keith's son. I traveled all the way from Colorado, where I live now, to be here for this honor. And I thank everybody for putting this together. This is really cool. So thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your dad with us. Oh, anybody else like to speak? Any tribute, anything you'd like to say? I know he's sorely missed on a daily basis at the fire department and throughout many, even my oldest daughter spent some time with him in Recruit Academy and had nothing but great things to say, as everybody does, so. Anybody like to speak before we do the? Oh, yeah, please.
My name is James Munger. I met Keith in the United States Air Force 50 years ago. And my buddy Randy, who's a little shy, and Keith and I spent a lot of years riding our motorcycles and spending holidays together, and our kids are all raised together. And as you expressed, Keith was a big family. He just made you feel that you're family. He was difficult to get on the inside of Keith. It wasn't an easy task, but he was just a number one guy. I say for 50 years, we've had a friendship, and it was truly a sad day. So to be here today to support Kyle and Matt and his extended family is a great honor for us as well, just to see that a city, a community can come together to support and reward a life well lived. So I do want to express my appreciation on behalf of those that have known him for a lot of years, and we appreciate what you guys have done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Oh, Brandon, please.
When I went through academy, Lieutenant Lambertus had already retired, but he still came back to volunteer. I got to know him a little bit. He's a great man and an inspiration to all of us. So sorely missed.
Great, thank you. Inspire anybody else? Good, please, please.
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Murray, and I am one of the career firefighters that was touched by Lieutenant Keith Lambertus, lovingly referred to as LT. We had several lieutenants, but he was LT. And he wore ragged Wrangler jeans underneath his bunker gear. He walked really fast. He had blue eyes that would cut right through you. And he, just to echo the words of retired Chief Alan Predmore, who they were just connected at the hip. He was the true definition of a servant leader, whereby anything he touched was left better by him, myself included. I know dozens and dozens of career firefighters who he mentored to get into the profession and inspired me through many, many phases of my life, would email me on my children's birthdays. He trained my husband and I, and that's how we met and fell in love. And a lot of those stories he touched and inspired. I talk to him every day. I miss him like crazy. He was a dad to me. And I'm just so grateful that I got to share some of his life with him, and that he was a leader, a mentor, and a dad to me. And thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the city of Buckley and the council for honoring him in such a way. And to Tammy and the family and everyone he left behind. It's just, my heart's with you all.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Love to hear from you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go to the podium for this part. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we have the certificate here for the family, and we'll have pictures here in just a minute. In recognition of a lifetime of extraordinary dedication and service to the Buckley community, the city of Buckley proudly designates Lambertus Avenue in honor of these lasting contributions which have shaped our city. This street will serve as a permanent tribute to a legacy of leadership, service, and commitment to the safety and well-being of our community. So please, family and friends, come up, and if you'd like to take pictures with the sign and the Buckley logo behind, or whatever you'd like to do, please come on up. On Lambertus Avenue, which is in the Blueberry? Yeah, it's so the old Blueberry Farm, the old Han Blueberry Farm off Ryan Road. It'll be, you'll see I don't think there's a house up yet, but there's roads and street signs in there. Yeah, you bet. And this one is for the family to keep and share and put up in the house or whatever you please. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyone, come on up. Sure, yeah, you bet. Public comments. So if anybody'd like to speak for up to 3 minutes on any topic. We just need your name and if you live in the city of Buckley or not. And for family, you don't have to stay for all this pomp and circumstance, please.
Really exciting.
What's that?
It's gonna get
Really exciting.
It's gonna be super exciting.
Mayor, just so you're aware, I do have one person online that would like to speak during.
Perfect. Oh, good. Yep, you bet.
Thank you. Actually, I have two now.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight, just a couple of things.
Can we hold up just a minute so we
Of
can make
course.
sure the recording gets everything?
Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Okay, thank you. Carolyn Robertson Harding here, President of the Buckley Chamber of Commerce. Couple of things from the chamber tonight. One is I sent over to Treva today a grand opening of the Lounge Luxe Beauty Company out on Highway 410. They'll be having their ribbon cutting on Saturday, May 3rd at 4 o'clock. So they would love to have mayor or council, if you're available to stop by. They are going to do the ribbon cutting at about 4:15. It's an open house type scenario, so people will be coming and going, but they said about 4:15 for the ribbon cutting. On that, they are a pretty new company, which is kind of interesting. They said they started out in a smaller location and immediately found that there was a need for their services greater than the size of the location that they had. So they then expanded to the Highway 410 location, and there are now 13 staff there working at Luxe Beauty. So that is a great success story for Buckley. It's my understanding also that we will be having another ribbon cutting for another business here in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. The other item I wanted to bring up was something that Councilmember Burbank brought up a couple of weeks ago related to A Street and Main. I checked in right next to Scoop. I checked in with Bill and April Rattray related to that from a business perspective. And I asked them, how often do you see something happen? He said, we have near misses daily. He's very concerned about it. He said, sometimes we come back in the morning after being closed for the evening and there are car parts in our parking area because people have had accidents and just leave their pieces behind. He said that they were concerned originally as well when they first moved in because their daughter, in fact, did a school report on how to make change in your community. And so she did a report on that intersection. She included in that a request to the community at their store, and they got 6 pages of signed comments from people wanting an always stop at that location. And I just want to acknowledge that the city has recognized that there was a concern 8 or 9 months ago. The flashing lights were installed, so there was an attempt to try and make a difference in that intersection. I think most of us would agree that it is not working enough. So my recommendation, with ongoing conversations with Chris Banks and others on that intersection, I think city administrator has been briefed that we consider some sort of an emergency all-way stop at that location. Call it a pilot project, call it a temporary fix, just to consider that, especially given that summer is coming, the kids are all getting out of school, and the construction is still ongoing. It might be something to consider, making some sort of temporary situation better before somebody gets hurt. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the audience like to speak this evening? And we'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. And two online.
People
Okay.
over here. So the first one is going to be Jasper. He's with the firefighters union.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jasper.
Hello, all. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and if there's any citizens left in the room. Before I begin today, I just want to say how meaningful it was to hear about the legacy of Keith Lambertus. What a powerful tribute that you guys did tonight to a life of service and commitment to obviously the Buckley community. It's clear that his impact lives on through the people he mentored, the lives that he touched, and the deep sense of pride his family must feel. Moments like this remind us why public safety matters and why honoring those who came before us is so important. My name is Jasper Stenstrom, and sorry I can't be there in person tonight. I'm on shift. And I serve as the 7th District Service Representative for the International Association of Firefighters, representing over 14,000 professional firefighters across Alaska, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. It's both an honor and privilege to be here tonight to talk to you guys on behalf of the IAFF and the professional firefighters serving the city of Buckley. I was assigned to assist in the negotiation of the first ever labor agreement for the city of Buckley's career firefighters. In this capacity, I had the opportunity to work alongside with city employee firefighter Connor Smith and Taylor Hobie. She's the president of East Pierce Professional Firefighters Local 3520. From the outset, this process was a model of collaboration. Chief Scogan, Treva, and Courtney approached each meeting with professionalism, integrity, and shared a commitment to doing what's best for both the city and its firefighters. Their openness and willingness to engage in productive, interest-based dialogue set the tone for a smooth and respectful negotiation process. We approached this agreement not as opposing sides, but as partners with the goal of crafting a contract that supports the operational excellence, respects the fiscal responsibilities of the city, and upholds the dignity and well-being of the professionals who serve this community. What you will see later in this meeting is more than just a labor contract. It's a result of a thoughtful negotiation and mutual understanding. It establishes a framework for continued collaboration between labor and management and provides a solid foundation for the future of the fire service in Buckley. This is a historic moment. For the first time in the 132-year history of Buckley Fire Department, its career firefighters will now be represented by the International Association of Firefighters. That representation brings with it access to resources, training, and advocacy that will help strengthen the department and ensure the highest level of service to your residents. On behalf of the IAFF, I want to thank you and your partnership, your leadership, and your recognition of the value of collaboration in labor relations. We look forward to continuing this important relationship and supporting the professional firefighters who proudly serve the city of Buckley. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your commitment to public safety.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Who's also the president of
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All right. Jasper pretty much said everything. But I am Taylor Hobie. I am the IAFF Local 3520 president. I just want to reiterate everything that Jasper said. It was an amazing process working with the city, Chief Scogan, Treva, and Courtney. Everyone was very great, and it was an awesome to have just a respectful and collaborative approach to this. And it was a very, it was a really great process. And honestly, I'm so thankful that this worked out for all of us. And I feel like we really came to the table and brought something great for these 4 new firefighters that are in the IAFF. So that is really all I have to say. Thank you for looking it over and letting us speak and take care of these firefighters and the community.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. That's
Oh, yeah.
everybody online.
That's all the hands
Okay.
that were up.
All right. Anybody else like to speak? Or again, we'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting if you'd like to speak at the end. Okay. With that, let's see. I did want to take a quick second to thank Councilmember Smith for attending the Doc Tate Pavilion thing when I wasn't able to, as well as the meeting with Pierce County, and meant to do that last time and I didn't. So next up is Planning Commission. Councilmember Arson.
Yeah, Planning Commission met for the second time this month, last night. We had a pretty small group. We just barely had a quorum, so a lot of we went over the comp plan edits. Mr. Farnsworth made the commerce edit, so I think we'll be seeing the final draft here pretty soon. The ADU code guidance and discussion, they pushed it, waiting for more committee members. Single family design guidelines, same thing, they pushed for more committee members. They talked a little bit about the form-based code example and the use table rough draft. And then our next is on May 5th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Councilmember Smith for admin, finance and public safety.
For my colleagues, please disregard, you have 2 sets of minutes. I don't know what happened, but our effective and absolutely outstanding city clerk provided you with the same copy of the March minutes. I printed out the minutes from yesterday, so please look at April 21st meeting yesterday. No emergent issues. Last month, we talked about the utility workers and all the applications and how they did things. They have done their interviews. One candidate has been identified as a strong person, is proceeding the background. And there's a couple others that may proceed as well, but one is moving forward. We, as the committee, were provided with a copy of a rewrite of the city's administrative policies. All those are going to come before the full council at a study session coming, to look at and whatnot in the future. On this night's agenda, you will see City Hall furniture. That's on the agenda tonight, so that was brought up yesterday. IT, Mr. Frazier stated that the camera at the skate park is currently inoperable. And if they would try to fix it, it'd be upwards of $1,000. It's an inadequate camera with limited focus. So a new camera with an upgraded camera, a 2025 camera with upgraded features is going to be researched and brought forth to us later. Police department had no new information to provide. Fire department, last study session, Councilmember Arsano asked for some information about the historical, how Buckley Fire has staffed itself. So that was provided to us last night. And in light of the last study session where the concept of fire impact fees came up. So that topic's going to come to another study session as well. You'll see exactly what was provided to the committee yesterday. Finance department, Director Hines provided us a first quarter dashboard update. It's on tonight's agenda. So you'll see that. And the 2024 year-end financial report, you also have that in front of you tonight. And finally, finance systems, how we do payroll, how we do billing, how we do all this stuff. 2 different systems have been evaluated, and the purchase will come before the council forthcoming in the coming months to replace what we have. And nothing can be worse than payday and your paycheck's messed up because your finance system is not functioning. And nothing could be worse for the fiscal portion of the city if we're billing and the billing's not going the right way. So we have to update the finance system, and we'll see that coming forward. That was it.
Okay. Great, thank you. Okay. And on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Sorry, 1 second. Brandon.
Can I slip the PCRC report under here? The committee
Sure,
report?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, please, yes.
PCRC met last Thursday. It was a good meeting. We got to meet the new sheriff, Keith Swank. And he reported out on commitment to reduce property crime. Recruitment is trending in the right direction. There's still some openings, but things are looking good. We also had a call for centers. And so I think we already have a center of local importance here, but if we are interested in more centers, if that makes sense for us, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, that's the PCRC report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ron.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
On tonight's
Oh, sorry.
consent agenda is approval of the minutes of the October 22nd, 2024 city council meeting and approval of the minutes of the November 5th, 2024 city council study session.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
And regular agenda.
First item on the agenda is ordinance number 03-25, amending Buckley Municipal Code 14.04 municipal water supply system.
Move to approve ordinance number 03-25, amending section 14.04 of the Buckley Municipal Code related to municipal water supply system.
Second.
Okay. And Finance Director Hines is here. Is that right? Okay. For questions, comments and concerns, anybody have anything for the water supply? Did we pick up anybody online? Amen, or Mackenzie or Donnie? Okay. All right. This will be a roll call vote if there's no questions. Okay.
Smith,
Aye.
Burbank. Aye. Green,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Arsano.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the collective bargaining agreement between IAFF Local 3520 and the city of Buckley for 2025 and 2026.
Move to approve the collective bargaining agreement in between the city and IAFF Local 3520 for 2025 through 2026.
Second.
Okay. And Denise.
I just have a question, just clarification. On 5.2, page 6. Under 2026 wages, where it shows effective January 1st, 2026, monthly base salary for employees covered by this agreement shall be increased by 100%.
Can you move her microphone
Oh,
closer,
sorry.
please? Thank you.
Do you want me to repeat that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, I just 100%. Can you just? explain
Yes,
that?
100% of the CPIU, which is
Yeah.
June
Okay.
2024 to June 2025, with a minimum of 2% and a maximum of 4%. And this is in line with our approved biennial budget.
Okay, it's not 100% on top of. No. What we're telling, okay.
Nope, it's just based
Okay.
off of CPI. So if CPI is 3%, they would get 3%. If it's 2.4, they would get 2%. If it's 1%, then they would get 2.
Okay.
And if it's 8%, they would get 4.
Okay,
Just
thank
for
you
some-
for
yeah.
clarifying that.
Ben.
Just a question. Will all of their CBAs be 1 year only? No,
No,
it was just
okay.
because this is the first contract and then they wanted the next negotiation period to align with our biennial budget process.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All right, this is not a roll call, vote, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries. Next item is authorization to purchase furniture for the new city hall.
Move to authorize staff to enter into a contract with a preferred vendor in amount not to exceed 50,000 to furnish the new city hall.
Second.
Okay. The city administrator's here for questions, comments, concerns on furniture. For City Hall? Anybody? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
And staff reports, first quarter for 2025, Director Hines is here for all the fun stuff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Hard to believe we're already through a quarter of 2025. So a little backwards. I didn't have the 24 year end done in time for the packet, so that's why it was added on your at the tables tonight, but we'll go through 25 first. So what I provided is a first quarter 25 financial report, calling the dashboard report. So plan on having these for you each quarter, giving you just kind of a little insight to how financials are going. We have talked about it at some previous meetings, and where we've mentioned that, you know, some revenue streams that we do watch have been down. And so on the second page of the dashboard report, there is a little graph and the dashboard where I've included some key markers of revenues, especially specifically for the general fund. So looking at overall total revenues and total expenditures for the general fund, if you just split the year by quarters, we'd be at 25%. A lot of revenues don't necessarily come in that nice and even, especially property tax where it's seasonal, where, you know, people pay April, May, as you know, when you pay yours, and then October, November. So first quarter revenue is down below the 25%, and we do expect that to increase and get closer to probably the halfway mark come the end of second quarter, once we have that first half of property tax at least in. And we'll talk about some specific general fund revenues. Looking at expenditures, we're at 32% of budget. This is also skewed a little bit in the first quarter, where we pay things that are annually, insurance, which is close to $500,000. We pay a lot of our software agreements, annual maintenance, all in the first quarter. So I excluded the insurance since it is such a large amount, and that puts us closer to 27%. So much closer to that target of the 25%. Excluding those large items, we should be closer to that kind of benchmark of the 25, 50, 75, since about 75 to 80% of our expenses, especially in the general fund, are for salary, staff, and benefits. And those are spread evenly through the year. So those tend to track along kind of that quarterly basis. Looking at some looking at some key markers for revenue, property tax, as you can see, it's only at 1%, but it's in the yellow. So the colors, green is performing well, either from a revenue side or under expending on an expenditure side. The yellow means we're within target or not concerned. So even though property tax is listed at 1%, not concerned until we get the first half in. And then red would be anything that's underperforming from a revenue or over expending on an expenditure side, or something that we're watching. So property tax is fine. Sales tax, we're at 26% so far for the year. So that's going along well. A little bit better. We had a really good March, which helped bring up January, February a little bit. Sales tax is a 2-month lag. And then utility taxes right around that 25% mark at 24%. Business licenses are doing well. We're a little above at 28%. Building permits is in red at 10%. It has been quite a slow start to the beginning of the year, and that was what we had talked about with council previously, knowing that there was quite a few developments in the pipeline, but through the first 3 months, we hadn't seen very many building permits pulled. We do know in April that there have been several more pulled and paid for. So we're expecting second quarter to be much more positive and at least push us back into that yellow at a minimum. Passport services, a small amount for the general fund, but overall we're doing really well. We're at 42%. A lot of that is people getting ready for travel for the summer, as well as the Real ID requirement coming up on May 7th, where you either have to have the enhanced driver's license or a passport to fly even domestically. So we have seen, we're booked out solid for 4 weeks at this point. So she's pretty busy now. Planning fees, 22%, just a little bit under, but I did put it in the red. We are hoping to see that kind of pick up in second quarter as well. And then I did include one that's not in the general fund, our REIT, our real estate excise tax. That helps fund all of our capital projects. So it's important to watch. It is only at 7% through the first quarter. And even though we do expect it to be low first quarter because it's winter house sales tend to dip based on the season, we are even lower than we were first quarter of last year. Now, the bright side on that you'll see in second quarter is there have been 2 large commercial sales just this month. So Matchmart has already recorded on the Pierce County site and sold for over $5 million. So that will be nice. And then the Western Self Storage has sold recently. We have not seen that one recorded yet. So those will increase our REIT quite a bit and help meet that target. And then we have seen house sales starting to pick up just anecdotally, not necessarily through the REIT because it's also on a lag, but just through other means, we've seen house sales are starting to pick up a little bit too. So we'll be watching that one. Expenditures in the general fund for just salary and benefits, right on target at that 26%. So right on with the 25. So if you have, and council has any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anybody? That looks good.
Okay.
Thanks, Sandy. Looks great.
I'll just stay here because
Okay.
I'll do
Yep.
my other one
You're next.
now. So 2024 year-end report. Overall, it was a positive year. We were coming out of kind of the valley of 23 for development. We kind of saw some highs in 22, and then we kind of hit a valley in development for 23. And so we were in that kind of valley as we budgeted. So we were conservative for the 24 budget. Overall, there's 4 exhibits attached to the reports. So the first one is total city revenue for all funds. We came in only just 1% below budget, just 200,000 on 20 million. So we came in pretty close across the board. I'd say the biggest decreases were in the capital funds. Again, with that development kind of downturn, a lot of the general capital facility charges for the capital funds weren't paid yet. So even if some building permits were paid, that's just the upfront. When the permit gets issued is when the general capital facility charge gets paid. So once they actually pull the permit, then they'll pay those. So 2 pieces to that. They pay the building permit, so that looks good, but then the capital side of it comes later. So overall, good revenue for the last year. On the expenditure side, overall, all funds off of a $24.5 million budget, we spent about 20.4, so came in just about 4 million under budget. A lot of that, again, you'll see on the differences, the largest under expending is in the capital funds for projects that either just started later in the year or were budgeted and on hold and getting pushed. So we have Miller Park budgeted for grant purposes. City Hall has been under construction. Bevlo started partway through the year. And then some of the utility stuff moving through that. So those are the biggest under expenditures. The last 2 exhibits are just for general fund, both revenues and expenses. In the general fund overall, on 7.2 million budgeted, we brought in 7.4. So we came in about 180,000 over budget in total in the general fund for revenue. Not necessarily from anything from a taxes standpoint. Property tax came in right around budget. Sales tax was down. Utility taxes were down. But we did have some building permits and planning fees come in to start to kind of come back up during 24. As well as just kind of a little bit across the board here and there. So nothing in one large category that was driving it, but business licenses were in the positive. We got some additional grant revenue. Again, the passport or the administrative fee revenue attached to that development. Our interest income stayed really high. The interest rate stayed high. So that definitely helped out for the general fund. So I came in about 2.5% over budget on general fund. That will help add to our fund balance, which we had purposely planned to help any additional revenue add to that fund balance to bring it back up for working capital purposes. And then on the general fund expenditures, we listed them by department and division. So we were about 1.4% underspent, about 107,000 underspent overall in the general fund. And again, that will add to the fund balance. I've noted at the bottom some departments or areas where there may have been some over budget expenditures. A couple of those where there was no budget so for our latecomer agreements, we can't plan for those or budget for those, but then we have an expense, so that shows up. And then like in the parks and recreation area for community center and senior center, the senior center and the youth center, we had additional grant revenue to help offset those expenditures. So council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them on the 24 year-end report.
Thank you,
Yep,
Sandy.
yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem. Thank you.
Okay. And we have Chris here this evening for an update. I was gonna thank you for the update, but I see you're on the itinerary here.
Well, just to expand a little bit on what Director Hines was talking about. So we did have a little bit of a slowdown with some of our building permit intake. But I wanted to talk about 3 residential developments that are currently ongoing. The Anderson subdivision, Blueberry Farms, and the Enclave at White River. The Anderson subdivision, they have submitted all 17 building permits. They are approved, but they've only picked up 8. So we do anticipate, because they've already submitted them and they've been reviewed, that they will pick them up. For Enclave and Blueberry, they have been issued 2 model home permits, and we have received several others that we are waiting for the final plat approval to review and get out the door. Any questions or anything?
I have a silly one. I assume the developer picks Enclave, is that their?
That is their name. We had nothing to do with choosing that one.
I assumed, I just curious, wanted to confirm. Anybody else? Questions? Oh, Ron.
Where is Anderson subdivision and where is Enclave White River located at?
So they're both off of Spiketon Road. Anderson is just to the north of Luke's Landing, which has had all of its permits issued except for one. And they're both being built by the same developer, Richmond Homes. So like I said, we do anticipate they do get built. And then Enclave is actually to the west of Luke's Landing and Anderson.
Thank you.
And Blueberry, everybody knows where that is. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And City Administrator Brunel with updates.
Thank you, Mayor. Just quickly, I want to share that we had a construction meeting today for City Hall. We continue to be on schedule and near budget. Depending on the day, it's a little over or a little under. So hopefully we're right in line with the budget. And then I wanted to share that we will be launching a new website at the end of May. This was a budgeted expense and something that is included every 3 years with our website provider. We did change website providers, but ultimately there's no additional cost to the city. This is something that they offer every 3 years, kind of a redesign. So at the end of May, you will see a refresh of the website, hopefully new, updated content, easier to use, fewer clicks to get places. And we'll be sharing that information in our community newsletter, which is also due to go out next month. That's all for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this will be the rollout of 311?
Yes, so 311 is live. It is already integrated into the website. We have received some requests, though not many, but it will have its hard launch as part of the community newsletter, and we hope to receive more.
Okay, perfect. Okay, any questions for City Administrator on any of that? Okay. All right. Public comments. Everybody but Carolyn gets 3 minutes. And thank you, Carolyn, for the, appreciate it. Anybody can have 20 seconds or 2 minutes and 59? Okay. All right. Last but not least, council comments and go to the order. Brandon.
Yeah, so just shortly before I came in, I read an article that there's 30% of people have their real ID. I'm one of the 70% who do not. And this came to be a panic attack when I saw I had some travel coming up for work in early June. And my wife got the biggest I told you so. She's been telling me to get this thing for years now. And she saw me sweating trying to make appointments, and there's just no appointments to be had. I think it said 4 weeks out. Yeah, that's definitely accurate. So I went to the passport event in Enumclaw. And I figured I probably had to get there a little early just to get a good place in line. Got there a half hour early. I was like around the corner, the city hall. There was like at least a couple hundred people there that time. And then that line just grew and grew and grew and grew. Huge revenue generator just for a short period of time. So at $35 a pop there with no photos, if we added photos here, that's $50 a pop. And we can really bring in some revenue if we consider doing something like that. So I want to put that on our radar.
Oh. Okay.
That there are a lot of people desperate like myself to get a passport. And they will stand there in the cold for 3 hours, you know, and have sore feet the rest of the week. And it's fine because you're going to be able to travel for work and not get in trouble. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll put Brandon at the front of the line.
Yeah. Be promoting it out there.
Okay. All right. Super. No, that's good to know. Good to know what's going on. Anybody else? All right, it's a beautiful evening. I guess we'll make short work of it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
Is that a real ID? I always had an enhanced one because I got an enhanced one when we.
Oh, really?
When.
I got
Not a side job, I gave her a matter, but, you know.